What if I told you that the most powerful move you can make in dating and relationships is to do absolutely nothing? No texting, no calling, no chasing. Just pure, disciplined silence. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But here's the truth. No contact is not just a strategy. It's a psychological powerhouse. And the moment you master it, everything changes. Most men are wired to believe that persistence wins a woman over. They think that if they just show how much they care, she'll eventually see their worth. Wrong. The moment a woman senses that you're too available, she starts to lose interest. It's human nature. People crave what they can't easily have. That's why no contact works on such a deep psychological level. No contact isn't about playing games. It's about control. It's about shifting the power dynamics so that you are no longer the one chasing. You become the one she thinks about, wonders about, even obsesses over. And that's the uncomfortable truth most men don't want to hear. Women are drawn to uncertainty. They are drawn to the man who isn't always within reach. Think about the last time you ignored your phone for a few hours. Did you notice how people suddenly became more interested in reaching you? It's the same principle. When you disappear, you create scarcity, and scarcity creates value. But here's where it gets even darker. No contact doesn't just affect her emotions. It taps into her deepest fears. The fear of being forgotten. The fear of losing something valuable. The fear of irrelevance. And once that fear sets in, her entire mindset shifts. She starts reevaluating her decisions. Doubt creeps in, and that's when she starts chasing you. In this video, I'm going to break down the psychological triggers behind no contact. I'll show you exactly why it works, how to use it effectively, and most importantly, how to maintain your power without slipping back into old habits. Because once you truly understand this, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. Let's get into it. 1. Silence triggers obsession. Nothing messes with a woman's mind more than silence. When you suddenly remove yourself from her life, her brain scrambles to fill the void. She starts wondering, why isn't he texting me? Did I do something wrong? Has he moved on? And the more she thinks about it, the more obsessed she becomes. This isn't just theory, it's psychology. The human mind hates unanswered questions. When something is uncertain, it becomes impossible to ignore. That's why cliffhangers in movies keep you hooked. That's why people can't stop thinking about unfinished business. And when you go no contact, you become that unfinished business. Now, here's the twist. She doesn't even need to like you at first for this to work. Even if she was losing interest, your silence forces her to reevaluate. She might have been taking you for granted, assuming you'd always be there. But when you suddenly disappear, her brain registers it as a loss, and loss triggers emotional panic. Think about it. How many times have you seen a woman who didn't care about a man until he stopped caring? Suddenly, she's the one chasing. Suddenly, she wants his attention. This isn't about being manipulative. It's about understanding what actually makes women feel attraction. Let's break this down even further. Imagine a guy who constantly texts a woman, always available, always eager. She knows she can have his attention whenever she wants. There's no mystery, no excitement. Now picture that same guy going completely silent. No messages, no reactions. Days pass, and she starts noticing his absence. At first she shrugs it off, but then curiosity kicks in. She checks his social media. Nothing. She wonders if he's talking to someone else. That thought alone makes her restless. And before she knows it, she's the one reaching out, just to see how he's doing. That's the power of silence. It forces a reaction. It makes her question her own feelings. And most importantly, it shifts the dynamic. Now she's the one trying to get your attention. This is why no contact isn't just a strategy, it's a psychological trigger. And if you use it correctly, you'll never have to chase again. 2. Women crave uncertainty. If there's one thing that keeps a woman emotionally hooked, it's uncertainty. The moment she feels too sure about you, the excitement fades. But when she doesn't know where she stands, that's when her emotions go into overdrive. Women are wired to respond to unpredictability. Think about it. Why do they obsess over men who send mixed signals? Why do they chase after guys who don't always give them clear answers? Because uncertainty triggers emotional highs and lows, and that creates addiction. This isn't manipulation, it's biology. The brain releases more dopamine when rewards are unpredictable. That's why people get addicted to gambling. It's not the winning that hooks them. It's not knowing when the next win is coming. The same principle applies to attraction. Now, let's flip the script. Most men make the mistake of being too predictable. They text her good morning every single day. They always reply instantly. They always show up when she expects them to. And guess what? She gets bored. There's no challenge, no tension, no emotional spikes. She knows she has him, so she stops valuing him. But when a man introduces uncertainty, everything changes. He doesn't always text back right away. He doesn't always say yes to plans. Sometimes he gives her attention, other times he pulls back. And suddenly, she's left wondering, does he like me? Is he losing interest? Is he seeing someone else? And that's when she starts chasing. Picture this. A woman is dating two men. One texts her constantly, always available, always eager. The other? Sometimes he's engaging, sometimes he's distant. She never knows what to expect from him. Who does she think about more? The second guy, every single time, because uncertainty keeps him on her mind. This is why women always talk about the spark. That spark isn't about looks or money, it's about emotional unpredictability. When a man isn't always within reach, he becomes exciting. She doesn't know what he'll do next, and that mystery is what keeps her hooked. The moment you remove all uncertainty, attraction starts to fade. But when you stay unpredictable, she needs to figure you out. And that's when you truly have her attention. 3. Attention is her currency. Women thrive on attention. It's their fuel, their validation, their power. The moment you take that away, everything shifts. From the time she was a teenager, she's been showered with compliments, likes, and endless DMs. Everywhere she goes, men are willing to give her their time, their energy, and their focus, all for free. And because of this, she's learned one thing. Attention is her currency. It's what makes her feel wanted. It's what reassures her that she's desirable. But here's the catch. When something is always available, it loses value. And most men don't realize this. They believe that giving her more attention will make her like them more. They think that constantly checking in, complimenting her, or responding instantly will win her over. But in reality, it does the opposite. It makes them just another predictable option in a sea of men who are all doing the same thing. Now think about what happens when you remove that attention. When you stop texting first. When you stop liking her pictures. When you stop reacting to everything she does. Suddenly she feels the absence. And that absence is powerful. Because now, she's not just getting attention without effort. She has to work for it. This is where no contact becomes so effective. It's not about ignoring her just for the sake of it. It's about showing her, without saying a word, that your attention isn't free. That you are not just another guy desperate for her validation. That if she wants your energy, she has to earn it. And that's when she starts noticing. She starts wondering why you're different, why you're not behaving like every other man. And deep down, it frustrates her. Because a woman who is used to constant attention needs to know why one man isn't giving it to her. That's when attraction begins. Not when you chase, not when you over-explain yourself, but when you create space for her to feel the loss of your attention. Because once she feels it, she starts craving it. And that's when the power dynamic flips. Men who understand this never chase. They never beg. They never try to convince a woman of their worth. They simply withdraw and let her own mind do the rest. 4. No contact exposes her true feelings. Here's the harsh reality most men don't want to face. No contact forces a woman to confront her true feelings about you. And it's not always what you expect. Too many men fall into the trap of thinking that if they just give her more time, more attention, more effort, she'll come around. They tell themselves, if I keep being patient and understanding, she'll realize I'm the one for her. But here's the truth. If she truly cared, you wouldn't have to convince her. The problem is, too many men ignore the obvious signs. They act as if their feelings are the most important thing in the relationship, constantly over-explaining, trying to win her over, and hoping she'll eventually catch up. But in doing so, they miss the bigger picture. She's not as invested as you think. The moment you go no contact, she's forced to look at the situation honestly. She has to acknowledge whether she actually wants you in her life, or if she's just been going through the motions. Most men are too afraid to pull back, scared that the woman will forget about them. But guess what? If she doesn't notice you're gone, it wasn't real interest to begin with. It's time to wake up and stop chasing women who don't show real signs of care. If you're putting in all the effort and you're not getting anything back, it's time to stop. Women are not oblivious. When they like someone, they show it. They don't need to be convinced. They don't need you to keep proving yourself. So, the next time you're wondering why she hasn't reached out or why she's taking too long to respond, take a step back. Instead of being afraid of the silence, use it to your advantage. Don't be the guy who chases a woman who isn't emotionally invested. Realize that no contact is one of the best ways to test whether she's really into you or just passing time. Stop settling for crumbs and wake up. You deserve someone who's as invested as you are. No contact isn't just about getting her back. It's about seeing if she truly wants to be in your life. If she doesn't, move on. The right woman won't make you wonder. She'll show up and she'll make her feelings clear. 5. You become the prize. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in any relationship is the moment you stop acting like you need her and start acting like she needs you. And the quickest way to do that? Go no contact. Men, listen closely. You're not supposed to be begging for attention. You're not supposed to be fighting for validation. The moment you do, you lose your value in her eyes. Think about it. If she feels like she's always in control of the situation, if she knows she can always rely on you to be there, what happens to your worth? It diminishes. You become predictable. But when you disappear, when you stop chasing her, something happens. Something powerful. You flip the dynamic. Now you're the one in control. You're the one who holds the power. Why? Because suddenly, she's the one wondering where you went. She's the one questioning herself. Why isn't he texting me? Why didn't he call? And that uncertainty, that's where her interest starts to rise. The truth is, women want what they can't easily have. They want the guy who is busy with his life, his goals, his mission. They want the man who isn't constantly available, who doesn't drop everything for them. And this is what no contact does. It removes you from the equation long enough for her to realize she might lose you. And when that happens, you become the prize. She starts seeing you as someone worth pursuing. She begins to question whether she can afford to let you slip away. And when a woman feels like she has to work for a man's attention, she suddenly finds herself putting in the effort. It's like this. When you act like you're just another option, you'll get treated like one. But when you act like you have your own life, your own purpose, your own value that doesn't depend on her, she can't help but become intrigued. She starts realizing that she is the one who needs to prove her worth to you. So, stop making her the center of your world. Take a step back. Go silent. Let her see what it's like when she can't reach you. Let her feel what it's like when you aren't available 24/7. And watch how fast the tables turn. Because the moment she realizes she might lose you, you'll see her make a move. You are the prize. Never forget that. 6. She feels the fear of loss. Here's the thing that most men don't fully grasp. Women fear losing what they value. They fear it in a way that can't be ignored. And when you go no contact, that fear is exactly what you trigger. For a woman, the idea of losing something she's invested in, whether emotionally or mentally, sparks a deep, almost primal reaction. It's not just about missing someone. It's about losing them. And loss doesn't just make her sad. It makes her question everything. When you're always available, when you're constantly in her orbit, she takes you for granted. She knows you'll always be there when she needs you, and that predictability makes you just another part of the routine. But the moment you pull back, she's left with uncertainty. She doesn't know what you're doing or who you're talking to. She doesn't know if you'll still be there tomorrow. That uncertainty breeds anxiety. Anxiety breeds fear, and that fear? That's what gets her moving. Women want security, but they also want excitement. And when a man disappears for a while, the excitement comes from the fear of losing him. She starts thinking, what if he's moved on? What if he doesn't want me anymore? What if I never hear from him again? This fear of loss triggers a chain reaction in her mind. She starts questioning her choices. She replays the moments you spent together. She starts to feel the emotional void that's left by your absence. And that's when she starts realizing, maybe I've been too passive. Maybe I should do something before he's really gone. But here's the catch. This fear of loss is not a bad thing. It's natural. It's what makes her see your value. Without the fear of losing you, she might never truly appreciate what you bring to the table. But when you create that gap, that space where she starts wondering if you're slipping away, she's forced to make a choice. When a woman fears losing you, she's not just losing you physically, she's losing a piece of her emotional stability, and that fear pushes her to act in ways she wouldn't if she thought you'd always be there. So, understand this. When you pull away, you're not being cruel. You're giving her the chance to feel the weight of what she might lose. And when she feels that, she'll take you seriously. 7. Most men fail by breaking no contact. Here's the hard truth. Most men fail when they don't stick to the no contact rule. They might start strong, feeling confident and empowered, but as soon as the doubts creep in, they break. And when that happens, everything they've worked for goes down the drain. It's understandable, right? You miss her. You start wondering if she's moved on. You feel the urge to text her, call her, and see if things can go back to the way they were. But that's exactly where most men mess up. They can't handle the silence. They can't stay disciplined long enough to let the process work. Here's what happens when you break no contact. You lose the mystery. You lose the space that's necessary for her to feel the absence of your presence. And when you show up too soon, or worse, when you reach out in a moment of weakness, you send the wrong message. You show her that you're emotionally reactive, that you're not in control. And she feels that. You see, when you break no contact, you're not just undoing all the progress you've made. You're also showing her that you lack the strength to follow through. Women value strength. Emotional strength, mental strength, the strength to walk away when needed. And the moment you break that silence, you signal weakness. It's not about punishing her. It's about giving her space to think, to feel the absence of your energy. But when you break no contact, you rob her of that opportunity. You rush things, and the power you've built starts to crumble. The key to making no contact work is patience and consistency. If you break it prematurely, you send a signal that you don't believe in your own worth. You're telling her that you're unsure of the outcome, and that's the opposite of what attraction needs. Sticking to no contact is one of the hardest things a man can do, but if you break it too soon, you risk everything. It's like being on the edge of a breakthrough and then retreating because it's uncomfortable. But growth, attraction, and respect come when you stick it out, even when it feels like the hardest thing in the world. So, remember, breaking no contact is the most common mistake men make. And it's the one thing that can undo all the power you've built up. Stay strong, stay silent, and let her come to you. Here's the thing most men won't admit. No contact is not about getting her back. It's about getting your power back. It's about reclaiming your life, your self-respect, and your emotional freedom. Too many men live in fear of losing a woman, but the real power comes when you can walk away and still maintain your value. And if she's not willing to chase that value, it's time to move on. No contact works because it shifts the power dynamic. It's not manipulation. It's self-preservation. It's about showing that you have a life, a purpose, and you're not just waiting around for anyone's approval. You stop letting her define your worth. You take control of your emotional state and stop allowing external validation to dictate how you feel about yourself. But the hardest part? Sticking to it. Most men fail because they break contact at the first sign of doubt. So let me be clear. If you're not willing to fully commit to no contact, you'll never see the results. I want to hear from you. Have you tried no contact before? What's your experience been like? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be reaching out to connect with you personally. This isn't just a video, it's a conversation. Let's start that conversation now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.